Alright, we are going to attempt to use the microphone today so I can explain this tutorial. This video is for the Final Fantasy Randomizer. The latest version is 1.4.3, and I will be covering the speed run basics here for those who are trying to learn. I'm hoping that my microphone is going to cooperate today. If anyone in chat is around, please let me know if you are hearing me okay. So the first thing we're going to discuss is the randomizer itself and the options that we have now. So we're going to start with the shuffle here. This is what is going to randomize everything. First of all, we have our treasures. Enabling this check means that all of the chests will be randomized, meaning all the contents found in the chests will be different from their vanilla locations. Next, we have the incentives. Basically, what this means is that the chest which normally contains the floater in the ice cave from the vanilla version and the tail from the vanilla version in Castle Ordeals is guaranteed to be some type of important item. Now, important item is kind of a loose term here. It could be any of the plot items, such as the slab, the floater, the tail, or the ruby. It could also be something like the adamant or the mass mune. So these are basically a mixed bunch. If these are on, then given the amount of chests you've checked already, you might be more prone to check Ice Cave or Ordeals. For example, if you had already cleared most of the required dungeons and one of these checks is on, then you would definitely want to go and check what that chest is exactly. Now, if you've already cleared Earth Cave and you found most of the plot items except, let's say, the ruby, then there's a good chance you might find the ruby in one of these, which is not required. So these are a bit of a mixed bunch here again. It's really a gamble when these are on, if you want to go check or not, depending on the amount of chests you have checked already. Shops means that item shops, weapon shops, and armor shops will all have their normal contents shuffled from vanilla. This is usually not too much of a big deal unless, say, you come into enemies that have stone, and the only shops that are selling softs are accessible by airship, which can be a real nightmare. Magic shop shuffle means that all of the magic shops for white and black magic will have different spells. With this check on, you're kind of limiting your magic users of usefulness, at least early. When this check is off, you will find all level 1 magic in Corneria, which is the first area. If it's on, you could find any magic from level 1 to level 8, and that also means prices for those levels as well. We have magic levels here. If this is on, then magic levels will be shuffled. For example, Nuke, which is a level 8 spell, will be shuffled to any level between 1 and 8. So with this check off, you're again limiting your magic user's potential because most of the better spells are found at the higher levels, meaning less charges and meaning they will be more expensive. Permissions is in relation to magic users. If permissions is on, then Red Mage will be unable to learn spells like Nuke, like Stop, like I believe XXXX is another one. So usually you want to keep this off if you're doing a learning percent, so your mages have much more ability to learn as many spells as they possibly can. Rng Table basically shuffles the RNG encounter rate from the vanilla version. This usually is a bad thing. Oftentimes you'll get 2-3-step encounters, and the RNG and the encounter rate will become very frustrating. So if you're learning, you might want to turn this one off so you can become used to the RNG of the vanilla encounter rate. Enemy scripts. Every enemy has a script that they follow given their attack set, given their spells, their physical attacks, all their abilities, and etc. So if the check is on for this box, that means this is shuffled. This means they could use the same attack twice in a row, which is very bad with something, say, like Nuke. Enemy skills and spells. This basically allows the enemies to use any type of skill or spell that has been shuffled from the vanilla version. Pretty straightforward. Status attacks. Some enemies can stun you on attack or stone touch or poison. If this is off, only vanilla type enemies will do that. If this is on, any enemy could do that. This is in relation to Castle Ordeals. This shuffles the teleporters. This obviously makes ordeals more challenging. So we'll move on to the scale now. If you're learning, I definitely suggest turning these down, at least to the vanilla levels. For learning percent, both of these can have a large impact on your time when speedrunning. And anything above 140%, I would say, for enemy stats, is going to lead to trouble late game. Usually. Because all of the enemies late game have higher stats, meaning this bonus is more extreme. So today we're going to be running at 150 just for this demo. And I'm going to put prices all the way up, just to make it a little more interesting. But again, if you're learning, you want to have this lower. I basically want this demo to cover just about every type of situational aspect that you can run across while playing this game. To speed things up, you naturally want experience and gold boost to its highest level. If not, then you're going to be grinding for a longer period of time. Conveniences, these are things that help the game progress faster. Usually you want all of these on. Early rod means you can get the rod from Sardia's cave, Sarda's cave, without killing the vampire in the Earth Cave. This saves a lot of time. Early canoe obviously saves time. You can go straight to Crescent Island and obtain the canoe, which opens up several more areas with much more likely chests that have important items. Early ordeals means that you can get into Castle Ordeals without having the crown. This is usually not a big deal unless ordeals is required. Normally when you are attacked and poisoned, petrified, etc., the game will auto-shuffle your lead character or whatever character down to the bottom slot, which is quite annoying. So with this enabled, you don't have to worry about that. Speed hacks is obviously the big core of the time saves that have come from this game. This speeds up your attacks, your commands. Obviously you want this enabled. Identify treasures is a neat feature. When you check a treasure, you'll be able to see what's inside of it without it telling you that you're full instead. So you can strategize as to your armor or your weapons that you want to keep. Dash is obviously important. You want to be holding this while you're in the canoe or while you're walking around to save time. Buy 10 items allows you to buy 10 of the same item, 10 of the same item from the shops. This obviously saves a lot of time in regards to heals. And lastly, we have our bug fixes now. In the vanilla version, if you use a house and you reset, you will lose all your spell charges. Having this check on fixes that. Weapon stats. Okay, this one is a little tricky. There's a lot of questions around this one. I will try to explain it the best I can. Basically, in the vanilla version, the swords have a lot higher hit rate and critical rate. So with this enabled, only select swords will have that critical rate, such as the Vorpal, such as the Katana, and also the Black Belt's critical rate is, I believe, cut in half in order to balance. However, the balance still needs some work, as the Black Belt far outclasses the fighter late game. So we'll go more into this as we are playing the game, and I'll explain with the weapons that I have. Basically, the weapons that you want to look for are the Vorpal, the Katana if you have a ninja, the Adamant for the Excalibur, the Masmune, the Defense Sword, which has the ability to cast Ruse, and the Sun Sword. Those are the best damage weapons. Chance to run. In the vanilla version, there's a bug where your fourth character can only run at, I think, a 2 or 3% rate, as opposed to the other classes, which have a much better chance of running. With this enabled, basically your chance to run is lesser than it would be playing vanilla. Granted that your fourth character does have the ability to run now. However, it is based on your current level and luck. So you will be getting more frequent inability to run when using this check. This check fixes a lot of the spells which give buffs. All of these spells except Hell 2, which in the vanilla version gives the same effect as Heal 3. With this check enabled, it will only give you the effect of Heal 2, which is lesser. Lock and Lock 2 lower the enemy's evade ability if they are successful. I haven't been very successful with using them, but apparently they can work. Temper and Saber are huge. Temper gives you the ability to add damage to any weapon. And Saber gives only the caster a plus 10% to the weapon hit, and I believe a plus 10 or 15% to the damage. I'm not 100% sure on that. I should be. Forgive me. So basically, Temper and Saber are very important, especially with boss battles. You can cast them over and over on the same character, and they will stack the damage consecutively. And basically, enemy status attacks means that it's kind of like a smart AI. The enemy will go for a different character instead of the same character that's already afflicted. And that is about everything for the randomizer currently. Entroper Zero, which is the creator of the randomizer, is working on the rest of these bugs here. And we still have some balancing to do before the official tournament begins. But there will be an official Final Fantasy randomizer tournament. It is in the works. I'm still kind of waiting to announce it. But word gets out quickly in the speedrunning community. And I don't want to give away too many spoilers, however, there may be prizes. So, let's get to the game.